When you walk alone, discipline becomes your shadow. It follows you everywhere, demanding that you keep moving even when your body wants to quit. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't clap for you. It doesn't pat you on the back. It whispers quietly, get up, keep going, don't stop. When you have no one pushing you, no one watching you, no one holding you accountable, that's when you discover whether you have the willpower to push yourself. And let me tell you, it's in those moments, those late nights, those early mornings, when the world is asleep and you're grinding alone, that strength is built brick by brick. Discipline is forged in the silence where excuses try to grow. When you walk alone, there is no one to hide behind, no one to blame if you fail. Every choice falls on your shoulders. Do you hit snooze or do you rise? Do you chase comfort or do you chase growth? Each decision, small as it may seem, becomes a weight that shapes your character. And over time, those choices build the kind of strength that no one can take away from you. Think about it. Most people only move when someone is watching. They train when the coach is yelling. They study when the teacher is grading. They perform when the audience is clapping. But when you walk alone, there's no scoreboard, no spotlight. It's just you and your promise to yourself. That's where true strength is born. Because if you can stay consistent without recognition, without applause, without validation, then you've unlocked a power that can carry you through anything. Discipline is not a moment, it's a lifestyle. And when you walk alone, it becomes your lifeline. Every step you take alone teaches you how to stand taller, how to push harder, how to endure longer. That's why walking alone doesn't just test you, it transforms you. It makes you strong in ways no crowd ever could. Loneliness is one of the hardest teachers you will ever face, but it's also one of the most honest. When you're surrounded by people, you can hide behind the noise, behind the conversations, behind the distractions. But when you walk alone, when the room is quiet and the phone doesn't ring, you're forced to face yourself. And that's when you begin to learn who you truly are. You learn what thoughts haunt you. You learn what fears hold you back. You learn what strengths you've been ignoring. Loneliness strips away the mask you wear for the world and puts you eye to eye with your raw, unfiltered self. And that encounter isn't always pretty. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you don't like what you see, but that pain is part of the process. Because knowing yourself fully, your flaws, your strengths, your insecurities, your talents, that's the first step to becoming unshakable. Too many people run from loneliness. They can't sit in silence. They can't walk in solitude. They crave constant noise because they're afraid of what they might discover about themselves. But the ones who embrace it, the ones who allow themselves to walk that lonely road, those are the people who grow beyond measure. You see, loneliness is not emptiness, it's a mirror. It shows you what you've been avoiding. It reveals the parts of you that still need healing, the goals you've been too scared to chase, the battles you've been pretending don't exist. And when you stop running from it and start listening to it, you unlock a level of strength that nobody can give you and nobody can take away. Walking alone and feeling lonely teaches you independence. It teaches you to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, to rely on yourself. Because if you can survive the silence, if you can find your voice when no one else is around, then you're already stronger than most. Loneliness doesn't just test you, it shapes you into the kind of person who doesn't need validation to keep moving forward. It builds a foundation inside you that's unbreakable. Because once you know who you really are, no opinion, No judgment, no rejection can shake you. Silence is one of the most powerful forces you will ever experience, yet most people are terrified of it. They drown themselves in noise, music blasting, conversations buzzing, screens glowing because silence feels uncomfortable. But when you walk alone and embrace that silence, something incredible happens. Clarity begins to rise. In the stillness, your thoughts stop fighting for space. The clutter of the world fades away. And suddenly, the truth that was buried under all the distractions comes forward. You start to see your life with sharpness. You begin to recognize what matters and what doesn't. That's the gift of silence. It strips away confusion and gives you vision. When everything around you is quiet, you can finally hear the voice within you. The dreams you buried because they seemed too big, they speak again. The goals you abandoned because people laughed at them, they resurface. The purpose you ignored because life got busy, it becomes impossible to deny. Silence has a way of bringing back the parts of you that the world tried to suffocate. And in those moments of clarity, you realize you've had the answers inside you all along. You were just too distracted to hear them. It's in the quiet mornings when no one else is awake. It's in the long walks with no music in your ears. It's in the still nights when the world has gone to sleep. That's where breakthroughs are born. That's where visions are crafted. That's where the plans for greatness are written. Some of the most powerful ideas in history were born in silence, not in the middle of chaos. Walking alone teaches you to value that silence, to sit with it, not fear it, to draw strength from it, not run from it, because silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. And when you learn to listen in the stillness, you gain clarity that makes every step forward purposeful, powerful, and unstoppable. Standing alone is the ultimate test of courage. Anybody can be brave when they're surrounded by applause, when the crowd is nodding in agreement, when friends are patting them on the back. But courage doesn't reveal itself in comfort. It reveals itself when you're on your own, when your knees are shaking, when doubt is screaming in your ear, and there's nobody there to tell you it's going to be okay. That's the moment when life looks you in the eye and asks, do you have the guts to keep standing? When you walk alone, fear will try to creep in. It will whisper every reason you should stop. It will remind you of your failures. It will paint a picture of worst case scenarios. And that's when courage is born, not in the absence of fear, but in your refusal to bow to it. Courage is choosing to stand tall, even when every bone in your body tells you to run. Courage is taking that next step forward, even though the ground feels unsteady. History remembers those who had the courage to stand alone. The innovators, the visionaries, the fighters, none of them started with a cheering crowd behind them. They stood alone, criticized, misunderstood, even ridiculed, but they stood anyway. They kept walking when the world turned its back, and because of that courage, the world eventually followed. And let me tell you, the moment you learn to stand alone, something inside you changes forever. You stop craving validation. You stop begging for permission. You stop needing the safety net of approval. You become unshakable. Because once you've survived the storm without shelter, you realize you don't need anyone to hold you up. The strength was inside you all along. Standing alone tests your courage. But once you pass that test, nothing, no rejection, no betrayal, no failure can break you again. Walking without applause is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, because deep down, we all crave recognition. We all want someone to say, I see you, I'm proud of you, keep going. But when you walk alone, there is no clapping, no cheering, no crowd chanting your name. It's quiet, it's thankless. And that's exactly why it builds character. Because if you can keep moving without applause, If you can grind day after day without validation, then your strength doesn't come from people, it comes from within. Most people stop when the spotlight turns off. They slow down when no one is watching. They only give their best when there's an audience. But the strongest men and women, the ones who truly rise above, are the ones who keep going in silence. They show up when nobody cares. They push when nobody notices. They fight when nobody claps. That kind of consistency, that kind of faith in your own journey, that's what makes you unstoppable. When you walk without applause, you learn patience. You learn to build without the instant gratification of recognition. You learn to trust the process even when it feels invisible. And over time, that patience becomes a weapon. It gives you the ability to keep moving when others give up because the results don't come fast enough. It teaches you that greatness is not measured in likes, followers, or standing ovations. It's measured in resilience, in consistency, in the ability to stay committed when the world doesn't care. One day, the applause may come, the recognition may arrive, but by then, you won't need it. Because walking without applause has already shaped you into someone who knows their worth without validation. You'll stand taller, stronger, unbothered by praise or criticism, because you know your character was built in the shadows, not in the spotlight. Solitude has a way of sharpening your purpose like nothing else can. When you're surrounded by people, their voices start to mix with yours. Their opinions, their doubts, their distractions, they all blur your vision. But when you walk alone, when you remove the noise, suddenly your path becomes clearer. In the quiet, you can hear your own heartbeat, your own calling, your own drive. That's when you realize why you started, what you're chasing, and who you need to become to get there. Solitude is not loneliness, it's focus. It trims away the unnecessary and leaves you face to face with what truly matters. Greatness doesn't come from scattering your energy in every direction. It comes from alignment, knowing what you're here to do and pouring yourself into it completely. Walking alone forces you to align. You don't have the distractions of a crowd telling you to go left or right. You don't have the weight of everyone else's expectations on your back. It's just you and your purpose. And the more time you spend in that solitude, the sharper it becomes. Think about an arrow. Before it can hit the target, it must be pulled back, isolated, stretched against resistance. That moment of tension is what gives it the power to fly straight and true. That's what solitude does to you. Pulls you back from the crowd, stretches your limits, and in that tension, your purpose gains force. When the time comes, you're launched forward with precision and strength because your aim has been sharpened in the quiet. And here's the truth. Most people fear solitude because it demands honesty. It demands you confront your distractions, your excuses, your wasted time. But if you embrace it, solitude becomes your greatest weapon. It gives you vision others can't see. It gives you conviction others can't shake. And it gives you a sense of purpose so sharp that nothing can dull it. Isolation is a furnace where leaders are forged. When you walk alone, you are stripped of the comfort of consensus, the safety of agreement, the crutch of support. And in that isolation, you learn how to rely on yourself. You learn to make decisions without needing approval. You learn to trust your instincts, even when they go against the crowd. That's what prepares you for leadership. Because leadership is not about following the noise. It's about standing firm in vision when no one else sees it. Every great leader you've ever admired had seasons of isolation, times when no one believed in them, times when their vision looked foolish, times when they were mocked, doubted, rejected. But those seasons weren't punishment. They were preparation. In isolation, You build resilience. You develop the ability to hear no and keep moving. You learn to stand in storms without breaking. And when the time comes to lead others, you have the strength to carry not only your own weight, but theirs too. The truth is, if you can't handle walking alone, you'll never be able to lead a crowd, because leadership requires walking ahead. And that always means stepping into unknown territory before anyone else is willing to follow. Isolation teaches you how to do that. It teaches you how to see the path before it's popular, how to keep moving when the road is empty, how to keep faith when there are no guarantees. And here's the beauty of it. Once you've survived isolation, once you've grown stronger in solitude, you don't just walk alone anymore. You walk with the authority of someone who has already faced the worst and endured. People can sense that. They feel it in your presence, in your words, in your actions. That's why true leaders are rare, because few people are willing to walk the lonely road that prepares them. But those who do, they come out of isolation with the kind of strength that moves nations, inspires generations, and leaves legacies. The lonely road is not smooth, it's not easy, and it's not welcoming. It's filled with resistance at every turn. Doubt creeps in like a shadow, whispering that you're wasting your time. Fear shows up, painting images of failure, of embarrassment, of loss. Even people around you, the ones you thought would cheer for you, suddenly question you, mock you, or disappear altogether. That's the tax of walking the lonely road. Resistance becomes your constant companion. But here's the truth: resistance is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every obstacle that rises against you is shaping you. Every barrier you climb is strengthening you. Every time resistance tells you to quit and you keep walking anyway, you're not just surviving, you're growing. It's like lifting weights. The very thing that resists your movement is the thing that builds your muscle. Without resistance, you stay weak. Without struggle, you stay soft. And the lonely road is nothing but a gym for the soul, a place where you push against the weight of life, and in that push, you become stronger than you ever thought possible. People want easy. People pray for smooth roads. But the truth is, ease never made anyone great. And yes, the lonely road will break some people. It will crush those who rely on applause, those who need company to keep moving, those who can't handle the silence. But for the few who embrace it, who accept that resistance is part of the journey, the lonely road becomes a forge. It burns away weakness, burns away doubt, burns away fear, until only strength remains. Walking alone is not about avoiding resistance, it's about embracing it. Because every ounce of struggle you endure today is preparing you for tomorrow. Every lonely mile is toughening your spirit. And one day, when the road opens up and the light shines down, you'll look back at all the resistance you faced and realize that without it, you would never have become who you are. Strength is not built in the moments the world celebrates you. It's built in the nights no one sees. Those late hours when the room is dark, your body is tired, and your mind is begging you to stop. That's where strength is forged. When you're alone, with no cameras, no praise, no applause, just the sound of your own breathing and the weight of your own doubts, that's where champions are made. Anybody can shine when the spotlight is on them. But the real work, the kind that lasts, is done in the shadows, when nobody's clapping, when nobody cares, when nobody's watching. It's in those quiet battles that you learn discipline, resilience, endurance. You learn how to keep your promises to yourself when no one else would even know if you broke them. That's the difference between the strong and the weak. The weak only show up when it counts in public. The strong show up when it counts in private. They put in the work day after day, unseen, uncelebrated, unrecognized. And when the world finally notices, people call it overnight success. No, what they're seeing is the product of countless invisible nights of sacrifice. Every unseen night you endure, every lonely hour you fight through, adds weight to your foundation. It makes you unshakable because you've been tested in silence. You've faced yourself in the mirror and proven that you won't quit. That kind of strength doesn't just appear, it's earned in the darkness. It's carved into you when the easy choice would have been to give up. But you kept going anyway. And here's the truth. The world may never see the hours you've poured in, the nights you stayed awake, the mornings you rose before dawn. They may never clap for that work. But when life hits you, when storms come, when pressure rises, you'll stand tall. Because your strength wasn't built on applause, it was built in those unseen nights that no one can ever take away from you. When you walk alone, you don't just become stronger for yourself, you become stronger for others. That lonely road transforms you into someone who can lead, someone who can guide, someone who can carry others when they don't have the strength to carry themselves. Because once you faced silence, rejection, doubt, and darkness on your own, you return with a power that others can feel. You walk into a room differently. You speak differently. You stand differently. People sense the weight you've carried, the battles you've fought, and the strength you've earned in solitude. And that strength doesn't just stay with you, it inspires everyone around you. Walking alone is not the end goal. It's the preparation. It teaches you who you are so that when you rejoin the world, you're not swayed by it. You don't follow blindly. You don't crumble under pressure. You lead with vision, with clarity, with conviction. And when others see that, they begin to follow. Because deep down, everyone is searching for someone who has been tested, someone who has walked through the fire and came back stronger. The truth is, no one can walk your path for you. But when you have the courage to walk it alone, you light the way for others who are lost. You become a source of strength for your family, for your friends, for your community. People lean on you because they know you've already learned to lean on yourself. And that's the ultimate gift of walking alone. You don't just return with muscles, discipline, or courage. You return with wisdom, with resilience, with a spirit that can lift others higher. So when the day comes and you step back from that lonely road to walk with others, you're no longer just another face in the crowd. You're the one who leads the way, because walking alone made you strong enough not only to carry yourself, but to carry those who still don't know their own strength. That's when you realize the lonely road was never just for you. It was shaping you for something far greater. At the end of the day, walking alone is not a curse, it's a calling. It's the universe's way of stripping you down to the core, showing you who you are without the applause, without the crowd, without the noise. It's the season where discipline is born, where courage is tested, where purpose is sharpened, where strength is carved into your very bones. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it feels like no one understands. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because if you can walk the road alone, if you can endure the silence, if you can keep moving when no one is watching, then you've unlocked a strength the world can never take from you. Don't fear those moments when people walk away. Don't fear the nights when the phone doesn't ring, when the support doesn't show up, when the applause never comes. That's not the end of you, it's the making of you. Every lonely mile, every quiet step, every tear shed in silence is preparing you for something greater. It's shaping you into the kind of person who doesn't just survive storms, but stands as a lighthouse for others lost at sea. So the next time you find yourself walking alone, don't hang your head. Stand tall, breathe deep, keep moving. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that the road that nearly broke you was the very road that made you. And when you return, you won't just come back stronger, you'll come back unshakable, unstoppable, unmovable. Walking alone didn't destroy you, it created you. It made you strong.